Hey, what's up, family? It's Coach Josh, and in this video, we're going to talk about 8 signs that you're not over your ex and 7 things you can learn and earn from your ex. Now, this video was inspired by a question from Jody Real. Jody Real says, how to know if you are completely over an ex when you see an ex and it seems like feelings come back at the moment. Also, Aaron, make sure you, Aaron Hawkins, I believe is your name, my brother, check out the video 8 signs or 8 things a man looks for in a woman. That video is to answer your question as well. But let's get right into the first sign. 8 signs you're not over an ex. Number 1, everything reminds you of them. Before I even get into that, the reason why we have to get over an ex is so that we can enter our next. We're too vexed about what happened with an ex when that ex was meant to be an example, was meant to be an expression of what you can learn and earn from it so that you can actually be developed into a person freely over so that you can go over the hump into what God has for you next. And so these points here is going to really get you to start thinking, have I really gotten over him? Have I really gotten over her or a past situation? And the first one is everything reminds you of them. You can't go anywhere without thinking about them. You're not over them. You avoid certain restaurants. You avoid certain sides of town because of how much it reminds you of him or her. If you're continuously reminded of them, you're not over them. Number 2, sign that you're not over your ex. You're comparing the person you are with them now. You compare the person you with now to them. Right now, you can't even enjoy your marriage. You can't even enjoy who God has for you. And the reason why God hasn't even brought the right one to you, because you're not over the last one that he didn't bring to you. And if you're with someone right now and you're not over an ex, there's a 98% chance that that man is not from God or it's not the right time for you to date. Because why would God bring someone over if you're not over the last person? God's a God of principle. God will never bring you into a situation that will tempt you and then actually be a test to the other person that's trying to be with you. So if you keep comparing the person you're with now with that other person, then you're not over that person. And God will not bring you into a marriage when you have comparisons. Because when you keep comparing, how can you really truly love that husband when you're comparing sizes? When you're comparing size in his pants and the size of the wallet in his pants, you're comparing all these different things to him, and you can't even really enjoy the loving that he wants to give you because you're comparing him to the last person. Or you're still comparing your wife or the one that God has for you with the person that God didn't have with you as a woman, and now you're comparing body size and whatever. You have to be over those carnal, sensual things so that you can actually enjoy the right things that God has for you. Number 2, sign that you're not over your ex. You're constantly looking at their profile page and for clues if they're on your page. You're not over that person if you're constantly looking for them. If I looked at your search thing right now, is that person in your top 10 searches? Is that person popping up more and more on your social media platforms, right? You constantly looking at their page, or you looking at your story seeing that they're in your page. You're constantly looking. That's one thing if you look and you just happen to see them. But if you're so invested and it makes your day when you see them there, or it doesn't make your day when they're not there, then you're not over them. Next sign that you're not over your ex, your post online is about them in some way. You subtweet. You sub-post. You send a subliminal message to them. You're letting them know, quote unquote, that you're better when you're not better. You let them know that you quote unquote letting everybody know that you're better when really you're bitter, because you're still healing from the bite that you got from the individual. Like if you're still if your posts have something to do with them and you got 90 likes and 150 likes and you're like, man, I'm gonna let them know. You ain't really over him. Another reason why you're not another sign that you're not over your ex, you healed too fast. You see the fingers? You healed too fast. If you jump to another relationship, you're not over the past relationship. Anytime you jump ships and you haven't taken the time to be on a harbor so that you can really talk to God and be healed before you get onto another boat, then you're not going to stand and be able to float in life. You're not. You got to be able to say, you know what? Turn this ship over. Park this ship over here in this harbor. I'm getting off relationships for a period of time. I'm going to go and enjoy the land. I'm actually going to enjoy where God has me right now. I'm going to cultivate this land. I'm going to earn from this land. I'm going to succeed in this land. And then when the right ship comes and I relate to it, sometimes we have to be on a harbor so that we can get the things that we're harboring in our hearts, so that we can be free, so that we can really be lighted up to get on the next relationship with someone and sail with them to the lands that God wants you to cultivate down the road. So some of us, we got to get off ships, man. And get ourselves together. Get off the ship, enjoy the land, enjoy where God has you, grow from there. And so when the right relationship comes, you can then be in a place where you relate to God, You better understand who you and God are. You understand sonship. You understand what it means to be a daughter of God. And then you understand what it means to be an individual in your fearfulness and wonderfulnessly made self. And then you can begin to see ships come to your heart, but that ain't the one. Another ship comes through, that ain't the one. Another ship comes through, that ain't the one. And then when you begin to feel the unction of the Lord because you have a relationship with him, and you begin to feel that there's a residue on him, as a residue on her, there's something about them as a man you want to harbor, and that ship is coming to deliver her, and she's about to bring you onto the relationship. You be like, hey, that matches my rib size. And all of a sudden you looking at him as the only way. You be like, man, I match his rib cage. Then you can go to the next stage. You heal too fast. That's a sign that you're not over next. Next point, you still have hope of y'all being a dope couple. You still have hope for dope. To be dope together. You still have their gifts. It's another one as well. You still have hope. Man, you got to get rid of hope because hope deferred makes the heart sick. You're sick right now because you still have a slither of hope. You got to get rid of the hope of it ever happening. I tell people all the time who are going through breakups, destroy all hope. All hope, destroy it. Get rid of all hope, because if you keep that much hope, a little small dope of drugs, a little drop of asinine, a little drop of certain drugs can still have you messed up for days. Just a little hope can be dangerous. But you got to get rid of that hope. Completely remove all hope of it ever happening again. That's what's going to keep you from making things happen. If you keep worrying about if it will ever happen again, you have to remove all hope of you all ever being a dope couple again. Or you still have their gifts. Get rid of their gifts. Get rid of all the reminders, man. If you still keeping their stuff, it's a sign that you haven't gotten over your ex. Next point. The slightest thought of them makes you emotional, guilty, or angry. You play the blame game. The slightest thought of them. You see a letter J and you dated a John, you can't even look at J's no more. J's throws you off your way. If his name starts with an H, man, you can't even, every time you hear, you messed up, right? The slightest thought of them makes you emotional. Whether it makes you feel guilty, like, man, I wish I would have treated her better. Listen, man, who cares what you did to them? Like, if you have truly repented before God and you have changed your ways and you received his forgiveness for you and you allowed his imputed righteousness to be on you, that puts you in a position where you know you in right standing with God, then who cares what you did to them? Move on. Stop feeling guilty of things that's been cleared off your charges. I don't care if they still mad at you. I don't care if they still subtweeting about you. I don't care if they still mad at you. You're free. I don't care what you did to them. You're free. So there's no need for you to hold the guilt and the shame and the condemnation of what you did to them. So stop thinking, oh man, now you don't even think you're good enough for love anymore. You don't even think you're good enough as a man anymore. And then now you drinking and you're sinking. Or you feel angry. I can't believe he did that to me. And you're mad that he free and done got a new woman married and happily married with children. You still ain't let it go. He don't receive this freedom from God and moved on. You still mad at her for leaving you rightfully. Both. It's crazy how many people are angry because people left them rightfully. They left them and they deserve to be left. They went right when you deserve to be left. Anything that deserves to be left is on the left side. He said, I'm going the right way. People are angry when you should allow that anger to steam out of you, the vials out of you, right? Or you angry because they did hurt you. Oh man, they took 2 years of your life. I understand it. You can't get that time back. Like if you're gonna burn with that type, you gotta earn from that type. You gotta say, all right, man, you got me. You got me. I ain't used to getting gotten. You hurt me. You took 2 years of my life. Okay, what can you learn from it? Don't be angry about it. To the point where the anger leads you to sin. Allow that anger to lead to ambition and to motivation. Last of the 8 signs you're not over your ex, you're trying to erase them with someone new. I think that kind of goes something else. You're trying to, now you like jumping ships, like you heal too fast. You're trying to erase them. Listen, you can't erase them by erasing to someone else. You heard the saying, the best way to get over someone is get under someone. And now you're under someone, then find out you got some stuff messing with you emotionally now. And now that person's on cloud 9 for you. And you still thinking about the other person you with. You can't erase them with someone new. The only person that you can erase a person through is with the Holy Ghost. All right, now 7 things you can learn and earn from an ex. I've been going 9 minutes on those points. I wasn't trying to labor too long on that, but I have 7 things that you can learn and earn from an ex. Number 1, all these words begin with X, E-X. 7 things you can learn from an ex, learn and earn from an ex. All these words starts with EX. You know exactly what you want and what you don't want now. That's what you can learn from. You can write that X on a sheet of paper and you can begin to say, okay, this is what I can learn. This is exactly what I want now. Now I know this ain't what I want. These are not the character traits I want in a man. These are not the character traits I want in a woman. Now I know exactly what I want and what I don't want. Number 2, a thing that you can learn and earn from next, you can now develop accurate expectations of yourself and the next person. Now you can say, okay, maybe I came in a little bit too hot in a relationship with too high of expectations and he left me. He became an ex of me because I had too high of expectations. Or my low expectations attracted the wrong individual. And now I know I need to raise my standards up. So you can now develop accurate expectation of yourself and the next person. Now you know, hey, let me see your resume. Before we can resume in this conversation, Zoom, before we can resume, let me check your resume. Before we can resume this conversation, I need to know if you're qualified to be by my side. Woo-hoo-hoo. I need to know if you're qualified to be. Do you know how valuable your side is? Do you know how valuable the side of a husband by your side? Do you know how valuable those positions? It's crazy we have downgraded positions where anybody can be beside us. You got to be some type of person be beside me. We're not talking about you. You got to be somewhere beside me when I'm in Whole Foods. I ain't talking about that kind of side. We're just in a line. We're talking about positional size. We're talking about husband, wife. We're talking about partners in business. We're talking about whatever. You like friendships, man. Are you qualified to be by my side? So when you know what you've been through with an ex, you can say, no. Do you know how much it's crazy how many people are dating people that don't even deserve to be in the air they breathe. They're making the air you breathe toxic. You trying to breathe fresh air and they bringing carbon monoxide into your life. They shouldn't be that close. Don't they say that the worst type of smoke inhaling is not the smoke that I smoke, it's second-handed smoke? That second-handed smoke is just as deadly, if not more deadly, than the actual one who's smoking. So you sitting beside a smoker and you actually inhaling what they're pushing out. People, they're pushing out not oxygen. They're pushing out toxic chemicals, and you ingest. That's why people shouldn't be by your side. You got to develop expectations. Say, man, do you even qualify for us to fly together? Number 3, you can now get rid of all excuses, feelings, etc., and you can stop excusing your part in dysfunctional relationship. That's layered. That's a lot. You can now get rid of all excuses. Like, man, no more excuses. Excuses eliminate your effectiveness in the world. Get rid of all excuses and feelings. And it starts saying, you know what? I ain't making no excuses for this anymore. And you got to stop excusing your part. Like, you dysfunctional too. Like, it takes 2 to tango. It takes 2. Just the 2 of y'all. It was both of y'all. Right? Like you played a part too. Some of us, if you didn't, cool, but you played a part by being a part of that person's life. So whatever got you in it is dysfunctional too. I can't be dysfunctional if I want to be functional. Like, God wants functional pieces that can actually function in certain places. And you got to say, hey man, I'm too dysfunctional. This toxic unforgiveness, this toxic bitterness is dysfunctional. You may have functioned as a great boyfriend. You function as a great girlfriend, but the dysfunction is what allowed you to even welcome that person in your life to drain your energy. You got to get your empathy together. You got to get your Jesus complex together. You can't save them. So whatever dysfunctional things that you contribute to the relationship, you can't excuse that no more. No, you played a part too, boo. You the one allowed him in your life. You the one allowed him into your sheets when he should have stayed in the streets. That was you. You the one allowed her to be in your pocket, and she wasn't trying to be in the pocket with you, right? You the one. And we've all been guilty of that. Next sign that you can learn, another thing that you can learn and earn from an ex, you can now embrace your singleness and look to God as the example. Look to God and look to his word. Now you can embrace singleness. I bet. No team wins 100% of their games. Even Jackson State lost the game. Even the Patriots who went 17-0, 16-0, still lost the championship. You still going to lose games. You know what I'm saying? Perfect seasons are rare. So embrace singleness. I'm embrace the off season. Off season is my singleness. I'm going to get in the lab. I'm going to get in the gym. I'm going to get myself together. so I can actually be with the one that God has for me. I got to look to God as my example. God, what am I missing? What do I got to exclude out of my life to include? What else do I need, of you do I need to include in my life so I can be a better example of a man? I got to look to God as an example so I can be the example as a husband, the example as a father, so that I can be that example. But you learn from examples. You know what I'm saying? Before you can sample, you got to be an example. Like if I want to sample a certain life to the place where I'm able to enjoy and be able to amplify that in my life, I got to be that example of the life I want to live and the life that I want to have. So you got to embrace singleness and look to God as him. Next, you can now exhale and work on expanding in your purpose. You can now exhale. Whew, that's over. I survived it. You can. God, thank you for getting me out the back door of that. To some of y'all know what that exhale felt like. Y'all was like, man, God, you got me out of there. I'm too nice. Well, God done got me out of got me off certain relationships, man. God has got me out of some friends. God has got me out of lot of partnerships. Thank God. Now I can expand in my purpose. You can expand in your purpose. Next one, you can now remove the excess and add the extra to your ordinary. You can move the excess. Now, what is that excessive thing that I do? What is that excess, that extra, that unnecessary? What do I got now? I can learn, okay, what can I learn from my relationship with my ex so I can remove the excess? Maybe I love too hard, love too far. Maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe I'm too careless. Maybe I pushed away a good thing. I got to remove the excess so I won't push another good thing away. I may have pushed a good thing away, but I don't want to push a God thing away. And I got to start adding to the extra. Now, what's that extra I can add to my life now? Now I can earn. Let me add some little extra so I can be extraordinary. Extraordinary looks for extraordinary. Ordinary looks for ordinary. So you got to ask yourself, which one are you? Last but not least, 7 things you can learn from an ex and earn from an ex. You can now exceed expectations. You can now go out there and exceed expectations. We talking about expectations of people, man. Go out there, man. People expected you to lose. That exceed them. People expected you to be a failure, not exceed them. People expected you not to be this far. Exceed them. Exceed the expectations. 8 signs you're not over your ex. Everything reminds you of them. You're comparing the person you're with now to them. You're constantly looking at their profile page, and for clues, they're looking at yours. Your post online is about them in some way. You're healed too fast. You still have hope of y'all being a dope couple. You still have their gifts. The slightest thought of them makes you emotional, guilty, or angry. You play the blame game, blaming you or blaming them. You trying to erase them with someone new. And 7 things you can learn and earn from the next. You know exactly what you want and what you don't want. You can now develop accurate expectations of yourself and the next person. You can now get rid of all excuses and excusing your part in dysfunctional relationships. You can now embrace your singleness, look to God as your example. You can now exhale and work on expanding in your purpose. You can now remove the excess and add the extra to your ordinary. You can now exceed expectations. I pray this video was a blessing to you. Share it with someone that you care about. Like, comment. Let me know which point that you enjoyed the most, that you got a lot. Put the timestamps of what so other people can be blessed by it. Also, the books that I think will benefit you all on this is The Purpose of Freedom, How to Untie Soul Ties and Uproot Strongholds, a very good book to help you disassociate and disconnect from people that was never meant to be connected to you. Also, Dating Prep, so that you can make sure that you ask the right questions so you can really thoroughly observe their resume, and Counterfeit a Counterpart, so you can know, hey, man, I know what should be sold over the counter of my life. I know exactly what's supposed to be a part of my life, so you'll be able to say, you're not it, and nor am I going to try to force to fit it in my life. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be blessed. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Check out the more books, card, game stuff in the description box. If you feel like generous and you want to give us support what we do, there's areas for you to do that. We appreciate your generosity in advance. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.